Hello, good morning, and welcome. Very happy to be chatting to the wonderful assistants of BEI Phase 5. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. I see there are still a few people joining the meeting late, so I may do a little bit of repetition here and there. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. Firstly, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jen Stradom. I am with the team here at Teacher Connect, and I'm absolutely delighted to be talking to all of you this morning. I just wanted to let you know that your cameras and microphones will be switched off for the duration of this call. So it's kind of just like watching TV. So you can just watch and listen, and hopefully we can answer all your questions about where to find your training, how to register for your training, how to do and complete your training and obtain your certificates. I'm here to help you today find what you need. So settle in and listen. Again, just a very warm welcome from myself. My name is Jen. I'm with the team at Teacher Connect. Welcome to all of those who have joined us in the last minute. I'm very happy to be speaking to all of you. We're here to talk about Phase 5 of BEI. And there's a few things that the assistants of Phase 5 are going to be asked to do. Firstly, you're going to be asked to complete your training. Perhaps that sounds a little bit daunting, but you have until the end of August to do so. I'm going to tell you exactly how you will be doing that if you haven't started already. Assistants will also be asked to complete a monthly survey. Those we will send to you directly, or you can find on the Teacher Connect WhatsApp chatbot. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that chatbot in a moment. If you've never used a chatbot, please don't worry. We're going to explain to you exactly how it works. So at Teacher Connect, we have a host of information on our chatbot, on WhatsApp, for Phase 5 assistance. So because it's on WhatsApp, it's easy to access and doesn't use much data. And here we have a host of information for you, not only the training and the surveys that I just spoke about, but also other items. If you join Teacher Connect, you'll have access to the webinars, not just these webinars. These are the orientation webinars to help you find your training, but we have other bi-monthly webinars coming up. Those will be around the program, around skilling yourself, etc. All the info you need to know. We have a lot of information on soft skills. So things like work readiness, what to do in the conflict space, so conflict resolution, how to make the most of your opportunity of your contract with the BEI Phase 5, etc. A lot of useful skills about how to show up to school, how to be your best self, and how to harness this opportunity. We then have a lot of exit opportunities. We realize this contract is only for a few months. What comes next? I know some of you are already thinking about that, and we've got you. We have a host of exit opportunities available for the assistants of Phase 5. Not only will you be able to get a letter of participation towards the end of your contract, there's also a lot of resources on partner sites, and we link you to partner programs. We've got scholarships, bursaries, learnerships, other kinds of study opportunities and free training. There's then a lot of other interesting things that will help you along the way. How to start your own business, how to start a side hustle, how to get funding for a small business, all those wonderful things that you can start thinking about for whatever's next, for later this year, for next year. It's always good to think ahead. So we've got you covered there. Then pertaining to the program, we have a host of frequently asked questions. For short, we call those FAQs, frequently asked questions. So at Teacher Connect, we've been involved with this program in the previous phases of BEI, and we know the kinds of questions that assistants ask, and we know the kind of information that you need. So based on the questions we've been asked in previous phases, we have that information up on the chatbot for you. We have a host of information from contracting and placement um, specifically to your roles and responsibilities, how to escalate conflict, how to get in touch with us or the department, all sorts of useful things. Over and above the frequently asked questions, we've also got live support. So we have actual live, real humans who are there ready to answer your questions. We call them our help desk. So if you get stuck and you don't find what you need on the chatbot or within the FAQs, we have a team ready to help you. We are here to support you in your journey. Speaking of your journey, we then want to hear from you. We would like you to share your story with us. One of the things you can do on the chatbot is share your story with us by sending us photos, voice notes, video, or sending us an actual story in text. Your story is important and we want to hear it. So if you feel like you have something to share, we want to know what it is. So just going to pause here for a second. I just want to say a very warm welcome to everyone who's joined us in the last few minutes. Since I last greeted, I see we have another 100 people or so who have joined since I said hello the first time. So hi again, my name is Jen. I'm telling you a little bit about Teacher Connect. The objective of today's session is for you to become familiar with Teacher Connect, and specifically the Teacher Connect WhatsApp chatbot. This is where you're going to be able to register and complete your training. If you don't know what a chatbot is, don't worry about it too much. All you need to know is you can find all of this information on WhatsApp and that we're going to guide you through it, either on this call as well as on WhatsApp itself. In this session today, we're going to tell you how you find Teacher Connect, how you register, how you can change your assistant type, how you can reset your profile if you need to do that. We'll talk to you about what kind of training is required for your assistant type, how to find your certificate, and how to change your certificate details. I see people raising their hands. I won't be taking questions in that manner. Your cameras and microphones are switched off and you won't be able to switch them on. However, if you do have any burning questions, you can ask them in our Q&A box. At the bottom of our screen, you will see a little button that says Q&A inside a speech bubble. If you click on that, my colleague Candy is online to take any questions you may have. However, I endeavor to answer all your questions. So if you just listen, I will get to the questions that you have. I can see there are some questions coming through. Thank you for that. Candy's going to answer those. I'll look at them in a little bit to see if there's anything coming up. In the meantime, you can just sit tight. I recommend you have a pen and paper or a notebook and a pen in case you want to take any notes. Let's do this. Just a little note about these sessions. We have another one tomorrow at Thursday, tomorrow, which is Thursday, apologies. So another session tomorrow, 2 to 3 p.m. These sessions are purely here for you to take advantage of and for you to understand how to access and complete your training. Each session has a different link, so if you want these, you can speak to your district coordinator or you can send us an email. I'm going to pause here if you want to take down our email address. It is BEI@ecubed-DBE.org. Tomorrow is our final session for July on a Thursday, but going into August, we'll be having weekly sessions on Wednesdays at 11. You are very welcome to join as many or as few as those. Milani, I see you raising your hand. I am not going to answer questions that way. You can put them in the Q&A box. Thank you. About the sessions, you don't have to attend every webinar. These are completely optional. However, you can attend as many as you need to get the help that you need and to have all of your questions answered. If you are confident that you know how to register and do your training, you don't need to attend any more of these webinars. This webinar is purely here to help you. Because this session is optional, there is no attendance register or certificate. You are not required to be here, so we're very glad that you are here, and thank you again for joining us today. Nicole, I see you raising your hand. I won't be answering your questions. You can put your questions in the Q&A box. Which leads me neatly to my next point. Your camera and mic will be switched off for this entire call. If you want to ask a question, please put it in the Q&A box. My colleague Candy is there to answer your questions. Otherwise, I will be going through them piece by piece so you can just listen carefully. So let's do this together. Say hi to Teacher Connect. What you need to do is you need to take this number on my screen, add it to your phone, save it to your phone as Teacher Connect. Then you need to go to WhatsApp and send a message that says hi. I'm going to read this phone number out for you now. It is 060 060 3333. Take this number down. To access your training, you need to go to Teacher Connect on WhatsApp. And you need to do that with this phone number, which is 060 060 3333. If you have a QR code reader on your phone, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen right now. This will take you directly to WhatsApp, and then you send us the word hi. It's as easy as that. If you've got your phone with you, I would like you to follow along now. Milani, you can stop raising your hand. I won't be answering your questions. So you go to WhatsApp, you send the word hi, at which point you'll get a welcome message. You'll see there's little buttons at the end of each message. You just tap those to progress. We will give you instructions every step of the way. But first, all you need to do is say hi. Not here, on WhatsApp. So save this number to your phone as Teacher Connect. If you look at the video here on the right of my screen, you'll see the user has gone to Teacher Connect on WhatsApp and sent the word hi. At this point, they get a welcome note saying, "We're so glad you're here." At the bottom of that message, you'll see a button that says Next. You can tap that to continue. Once you've done so, you'll see our privacy policy. In order to proceed, you have to select Yes. This is the actual privacy policy here on my screen right now. It's just a small document that you can look through at your own time. What is the privacy policy? This is our way of ensuring that your personal information is safe. And this is us making sure that you know that your personal information is safe with us. The reason we're asking you for particular details is so that we can serve you the correct training. The privacy policy is in line with the POPI Act of South Africa, which is to do with the protection of personal information. By agreeing to our privacy policy, you're able to continue. You need to click the button that says, Yes, I accept. Once you've done that, you'll be asked for your CADR. This is important. I'm going to pause here. Your CADR is BEEI Assistant. So you're wanting to select this very top option that says BEEI Assistant. That is your CADR. You're not teachers, you are not principals, you certainly aren't learners anymore. You are BEI assistants for the purposes of this registration process. So once you see Cater, you select BEI assistant and tap send. Once we know you're an assistant, we ask you for more information. We ask you for your first names. So here you'll see this user is typing in her first names, Jane, B. She then gets another message to say, asking for her last name. She's then typing in Smith. So this is important. Don't give us all your names with the first message, just your first names, then your last name. Then you get a message to say, nice to meet you. Would you like to stay in the loop with helpful updates and resources? This is entirely up to you. We recommend that you select yes. By selecting yes, that means we're allowed to WhatsApp you. If you say no, that means we can't send you a WhatsApp directly. It means you'll need to come to the chatbot to get what you need. So once you see this communications opt-in, you select yes, if you so wish. We then want to know about your role. We know you're BEI assistants, but each BEI assistant has a specific role. This question is asking you for that. So here it is. You're either a curriculum assistant, reading champion, care and support, handy person, sports and enrichment, laboratory, workshop, or e-caters assistants. I am aware that in some instances, assistants have more than one role, but you need to start with one of them. So select your role that best describes you. This information should be available to you in your contract. If you're not sure, check with your teacher, mentor, or your principal. It's important that we get your role type correct so that we can serve you the correct training. Jane B is a curriculum assistant. She has selected this option and pushed send. We then ask for your EMIS number. This is quite important as well. Your EMIS number is the unique identifying number for every school in South Africa. Every school has an EMIS number. If you don't know it, please get that number from your teacher, mentor, or principal, or fellow assistants. They will know what the EMIS number is for your school. We then ask for your email address and your ID number. Please type your responses in carefully so we can get accurate information. This is just an example, so don't put in a bunch of zeros. We want your actual ID number as it's reflected in your ID book. And it's as easy as that. We ask you for 7 pieces of information, and then you're ready to go. What you see now on my screen is the menu. This is the main menu for BEEI, and here you'll find everything you need. When you go tap here, these are the options that come up. The first thing you'll see is your training. Once you've registered, you can go directly and begin your training. Or you can look at all of these other items that I mentioned. You can look at information around work readiness. You can look at our frequently asked questions. Here you can find surveys, information about more webinars. You can share your story. You'll see an option here about how to change your role. And then also you'll find an option here to get your certificates. In order to get certificates, you need to complete your training. So if you haven't done any training, there's nothing for you in My Certificates. But if you've already done your training and you want your certificates again, this is where you'll find it. This is also where you'll be able to change your name if you've made a mistake on registration. But I'm going to go through that with you in this call. So we've just gone through registration, but I just want to go through it one last time because it's important. We want the right information. Once you go to Teacher Connect and you say hi, you need to accept our privacy policy in order to proceed. That's the privacy policy. You can click on the link to read the privacy policy, or you can just proceed by clicking yes. So there's the PDF. You can say, yes, I accept. We then ask you for Cater. Reminder, you are BEEI assistants. That is the correct Cater for you to use. We then ask for your first names. So your first names would be all your names, and your last name will be your surname. It's an important distinction. So when we ask for first names, only give those. We will then ask for last name. Pop that in. We want these as they appear on your ID card. We then here are asking for permission to send you WhatsApps with any updates, resources, or opportunities that come up. We recommend that you select yes, but that's entirely up to you. We then ask for your assistant role type. You select your role type. We ask for EMIS number. Each school has a unique EMIS number. If you don't know this number, please ask your principal or teacher mentor. We then ask for your email address. You can type that nice and slowly to make sure it's captured accurately. We ask for your ID number. Please also capture this as accurately as possible. It needs to be the ID number that is reflected on your ID card. And just like that, you're in. That's registration all done. Here you'll find what we call the BEI menu. You'll see at the bottom it says tap here, and these are all the options of things you can find. I just want to pause here and see what questions we have in the Q&A box. I see a message from Justin Oliphant saying louder, please. Well, you can adjust your audio settings on your side, Justin. Alternatively, there is a live stream on YouTube if that is preferable. You can also enable closed captions, which will essentially give me subtitles. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little box that says CC in it, and you can tap that to show captions. That should take you, that should help and give you what you need. Iviwe, I see you have a question saying, yesterday I struggled with signing in to do the NSSF certificate. That is correct. There seems to be some trouble with the NSSF at the moment. We got notice yesterday to say that there may be some technical trouble with NSSF until Monday. So if you are struggling with that, I'm really sorry to hear that. This is not training we host on our platform, so you'll need to get in touch with the NSSF team directly. Alternatively, I suggest you just pause for now and try again on Monday. They should have sorted out those problems by then. I'm just going to ask Candy, could you pop the email address to Iviwe, just the NSSF email address so they can get in touch with them directly? Thank you, Candy. I see another question saying, can I get the link for the certificate? I'm not sure what you mean. So I'm going to talk to this point in a couple of ways. So firstly, there is no certificate or attendance register for this call. It is completely optional. If you have the information you need, you no longer need to attend any more of these. These are purely here to get you to find what you need on Teacher Connect. So there is no certificate or attendance register for this call. However, we got lots of certificates waiting for you on Teacher Connect. For each piece of training you complete, you will get a certificate of completion. So In order to get your certificates, you have to complete your training. On completion of training, your certificates are automatically generated and sent to you on WhatsApp. It'll be a small A4 PDF with your name, with your first names and last name, as well as the date that you completed the training. This will serve as evidence that you've completed your training. I hope that answers your question. I see here there's a question from Sifiso also about NSSF and there being a bit of trouble with the NSSF training. As I just mentioned, we've heard from the NSSF team that they're having some technical problems with that training, and it's likely to be problematic until Monday. So I suggest you either email them directly for some assistance or just try again on Monday. You should be able to continue where you left off. Sorry that we can't help you any further. This is not training that we host ourselves. Relebohile, good day. Can I please get the YouTube link? Yes, that's not a problem. We are streaming live to YouTube as well. Candy, would you mind popping that link in the chat for this user? On YouTube, you'll also find recordings of all of these webinars. So if it's easier for you to watch these at your own pace, you can also look on YouTube to find the recordings there. I then see a question here saying, is it only 2 certificates that are needed for sports and enrichment? No, there are more actually. I'm going to tell you about that in just a moment. I then see there's a message here from Andoricio saying, hello from Montana High School. Hello right back to you, and hello to everyone else on this call. Thank you again. Final question, oh boy. It's a question from St. Mark saying, how long do we need to sit here? Well, you don't need to do anything, actually. As I said, these calls are not compulsory, so if you are tortured by being here, I'm sorry, firstly. And secondly, you're free to leave whenever you want, provided that you have everything that you need. If you know how to access and complete your training, you're welcome to leave. But to the rest of you, thank you very much for listening. Back to my presentation. I'll look at more questions later. For now, Candy's answering those questions bit by bit in the Q&A box. If any of you are joining us on YouTube, you can also weigh in. There's a chat, you can use the live chat function. One of my colleagues are there also to answer your questions. So let's talk a little bit about resetting your profile. So I described earlier how it is that you can register. But if you've made any kind of mistake in your registration and you're worried about that, you can actually reset your profile. Why else would you want to reset your profile? Well, perhaps you were in a previous phase and you now need to redo the training for phase 5. That means you need to reset your profile, re-register with your correct cater and assistant type, and then start again. Also, in instances where people are sharing phones, it becomes a bit difficult. So maybe someone has done all their training on the phone, they've saved all their certificates, and now they can reset their profile so someone else can do it. I'm just going to play a little video here of how you can do this. Essentially, all you need to do is type in the words teacher connect clear as one word. If you look on my screen now, you'll see it's one word, no spaces. Check that spelling, teacher connect clear. Basically, if you've been doing something on the chatbot, you need to wait at least 5 minutes, no less than 5 minutes. You'll type in Teacher Connect Clear, hit send, and then once you've done that, it takes a little while, but you'll get a message that says your profile has been reset. Once your profile has been reset, you can just type the word hi, and it'll start the process from the beginning. So there you'll see this user has reset their profile, they typed the word hi, and now they're back at our welcome menu. So that is how you can reset your profile. If you get stuck though and you don't want to do this on your own, just send us an email. Our email address is beei@ecubed-dbe.org. For anyone else who has potentially made a mistake in registration or needs to update the information, we've also got your back. You can change your role. For example, if you incorrectly selected the wrong role, you can go back and do that. On the menu here, you'll see the second to last option says change my role. If you click that, we then give you all the roles again that you can reselect. Read these carefully, take your time. There's no time limit on this. You'll see here Jane B changed her role to handy person. When she goes back to the training, we then say, welcome. Are you ready to start your training? Jane B says, yes, ready to start. And we say, according to our records, you are a handy person assistant and you have to do the following training. We then link them directly to the training, and it's as easy as that. You'll find it all here on WhatsApp. This is an example of what that training looks like. It's small bite-sized chunks, and you tap the buttons through the material. For anyone who has, I'm just going to play that video again. For anyone who has more than one role, this is how you can access different training material. You go to change my role on the menu, select your assistant role type correctly, and now you're cruising. For anyone who's joined us late, I just want to go back to this slide. This is the very beginning. If you haven't registered yet on Teacher Connect, I recommend that you do that now, or at least save the phone number so you can do it later. Take this number down. It's 060 060 3333. That is the phone number for Teacher Connect. Teacher Connect is a WhatsApp chatbot full of information that is good, relevant for BEEI Phase 5 assistance. You will also find all your training on WhatsApp, making it easy to access and giving you all the power and knowledge in the palm of your hand. All you need to do is say hi to Teacher Connect, and we'll take you through the registration process. If it's easier, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. But if you're also super confused and you just want a human to help you, here's our email address. Send us an email. We're ready and waiting to help. It's beei@ecubed-dbe.org. You can also ask your questions in the Q&A box. By the time we get to 12, I want all of you to know what you need to do and how you need to do it. So please don't be shy to ask questions in the Q&A box. Just a reminder, your microphone and cameras are off, so I can't speak to you directly, but there's the Q&A box, and you can email us, or we've got our help desk team online on the chatbot if you need any assistance. Let's talk about training. This is why we're all here. Once you've registered and shared your details with us, and we know your assistant type, we will then give you the various training modules that you need to complete. You'll see here Jane B, who registered earlier, here on my screen on the left. She's here in the training hub. This is where you will find all the training you need to complete, or links to training that we don't host. So here you'll see Jane B is a curriculum assistant. We know that because she registered correctly. And here she's given a list of all the pieces of training that she needs to complete by the end of August. That is the time frame. You have until the end of next month to complete your training. So you have a little bit of time. And the nice thing about the training being on WhatsApp is you can complete this in your own time at your own pace. So this can happen in the evenings, during breaks at school, whenever is appropriate for you to find some time to digest this information. So in the training hub, you're served a list of the training you need to complete, and then you select where you want to begin. We recommend you begin with orientation training. This is the piece of training all assistants need to do. And here it is. That to give you an idea, this is what it looks like. It's here on your phone in WhatsApp, and you're going to tap your way through it. At the bottom of each message, you'll see buttons, and you just tap your way through. Take your time, read through the information, think about it, tap next when you're ready to move on. Easy peasy. We have a fair amount of training available for assistants at the moment. We have training for orientation, care and support, curriculum, handy persons, reading champions, sports and enrichment, as well as e-caters. Sorry, this is not on my list on the slide, but we also have e-caters training. There is some training that is still in progress that is both for workshop and laboratory assistants. So your dedicated role-based training isn't ready yet, but there are other pieces of training you can complete, such as orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. I would like all of you to listen carefully now, please, because I saw a lot of questions in the Q&A box. These are the pieces of training that you are required to complete for each of your roles. So if it's helpful, please take a screenshot. If you're a care and support assistant, this slide is for you. You have 4 pieces of training that you are required to complete by the end of August. It is your orientation training, care and support training, digital literacy, and NSSF. Care and support assistants, now you know what you have to do. But you also don't have to remember this because once you've registered, we will just serve you the correct training. Curriculum assistants, you have a fair amount of training that you need to do. There are 7 pieces of required training that you need to complete. Orientation, curriculum training for foundation phase, intermediate and senior phase, as well as FET phase. You then have introduction to project-based learning, digital literacy, and NSSF. I want to just pause here for a moment. Curriculum assistants, regardless of the level, the phase or level at which you are a curriculum assistant, you need to complete the curriculum training for each phase. So even if you're teaching in foundation phase, you need to do the training for intermediate, senior, and FET phases as well. This is what the department is requiring for curriculum assistants. And there's a wealth of knowledge that you can obtain there, and that can help you regardless of the phase that you're in, so it's best that you do the training for all phases. This is the list for curriculum assistants. Reading champions, you have 4 pieces of training that you need to complete by the end of August. You have orientation training, reading champions training, digital literacy, and NSSF. Any handy persons in the house? This is for you. You also have 4 pieces of training you need to complete. Yours are orientation, handy persons, digital literacy, and NSSF. Laboratory assistants. The laboratory assistant training is coming soon, but in the meantime, you can complete orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. All training looks like what I had up here. I've just gone back to show you. It's small pieces of information that you tap buttons through. There'll be some quizzes, and then you'll get a certificate. Sports and enrichment assistants. You also have 4 pieces of training you are required to complete by the end of August. It's orientation, sports and enrichment, digital literacy, and NSSF. Workshop assistance, you have 3 pieces, excuse me, you have 3 pieces of training that you're required to complete. The dedicated workshop assistant training is not ready yet. This is still in progress, but in the meantime, there are 3 pieces you can complete. It's orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. E-caters, we've not forgotten about you. You also have a fair amount of training that you need to go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. You have orientation training, code club training. There's an entrepreneurship challenge. We've got the Kitso digital literacy training for you as well. Lisedi financial tips and Loisi the financial doctor training. You also have the NSSF training. A reminder, all training should be completed by the end of August. And when there's any new training or courses available, we'll let you know. At the moment, the laboratory and workshop training isn't live, but we'll let you know when it is. For anyone who was in these calls last week, the sports and enrichment training has gone live, as well as e-caters. So that's all up and running and ready for you. I'm going to pause again here for a moment. I just want to see if there's any questions in the Q&A box that I can answer. I just went through this. I see a question from Kaya that says, are there only 2 certificates for sports and enrichment? No, that's not quite correct. I just went through this a moment ago, but basically there are 3 available certificates for you to do. You'll need to do orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. As well, oh, apologies, it's 4. I'm going to just repeat. For sports and enrichment assistance, there are 4 pieces of training that you need to complete. It's orientation, sports and enrichment, digital literacy, and NSSF. I hope that answers your question, Kaya. I see Candy has cleared that Q&A box, so thank you, Candy. I'm going to go back to my presentation. If you have any other questions for Q&A, please just pop them through. I saw one last question popped up quickly from Moetu. As a curriculum assistant, which certificate should I obtain to complete? Well, I did just go through that, but I am going to tell you again. Let me go back to my slide. So I see there's a question about curriculum, about reading champions, and care and support. Let's go back to those slides, guys. Let's go back to the slides. I also just want to say you guys don't actually have to oh gosh, apologies. I'm just having some technical troubles. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Okay, guys, here it is. Care and support. Here are the 4 pieces of training you need to do. Orientation, care and support training, digital literacy, and NSSF. I just want to remind you again, you don't have to memorize this. If you register on Teacher Connect, we're going to tell you what training you need to do. So for example, see here on my screen, if you tell us your assistant role, we will tell you what training you need to do, and we will allow you to do this training. So you don't have to have this memorized. Please don't panic. Curriculum assistance. This was one of the questions. You have 7 pieces of training you need to complete. This is what is up on my screen right now. Orientation, curriculum training for foundation phase, as well as intermediate senior phase, as well as FET phase. Yes, you have to do all three. You then have to do introduction to project-based learning, digital literacy, and NSSF. So those are your 7 pieces of training that you are required to complete by the end of August. Reading Champions, you have 4 pieces of training: orientation, Reading Champions, digital literacy, and NSSF. Handy Persons, you also have 4 pieces of training that you're required to complete: orientation, Handy Persons, digital literacy, NSSF. Laboratory assistants, you also have 4 pieces of training, but the laboratory assistant training is not available yet. So you can do the existing 3 pieces, which is orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. Sports and enrichment assistants, you have 4 pieces of training that need completion: orientation, sports and enrichment, digital literacy, and NSSF. Workshop assistants, the dedicated workshop assistant training is not live yet, but there are 3 live pieces of training you can do. I feel like you guys can repeat this with me because I've said it so many times now, but it's orientation, digital literacy, and NSSF. Then ECADers, we've not forgotten about you. You have 7 possible pieces of training that you can complete. It's orientation, code club, entrepreneurship challenge, digital literacy, financial doctor, and NSSF. Again, you don't have to memorize this. If you register on the chatbot, we will give you this full list as well as links to find these pieces. Let's talk about certificates. A certificate is issued automatically once you have completed your training. For each piece of training that you complete, there is a certificate that will be shared with you as soon as you finish the training. On my screen, you will see a little example of what these certificates look like. They're small PDFs with the name of the piece of training you've done, your first name and your last name, as well as the date of completion. This is a great example here. You'll see Janet Sneyman has done 2 certificates. They're probably quite small, but I know what they are. This orange one is the orientation certificate. So Janet's done her orientation training, and she's also done her Reading Champions training, this green one. That's a Reading Champions certificate. Well done, Janet. So once you finish your training and the certificate is shared with you, we recommend that you save your certificate to a safe place. So either download it and save it on your phone, or WhatsApp it to yourself, or email it to yourself, or to your principal, or to your teacher mentor, wherever you think is a good place for those to be kept safely. If at any point you've done a bunch of training and you're looking to get all your certificates again, you can just say hi. This is once you've registered. You'll go to the menu. Right at the bottom of the menu, you'll see an option that says My Certificates. You'll tap that, and then we'll ask you if your details are correct. If you say yes, we will then just serve you all your certificates again. This will only serve you the certificates that you have completed training for. So this isn't a workaround or a way to get your certificates without doing your training. You need to complete your training first, and then you'll get your certificates. And this is where they will be issued to you. Easy peasy. But what if you need to change your certificate? Well, we've got you. You go to the same place. You go to My Certificates. It's the last option on the menu. We then ask you, please confirm your name so that we can get this right on your certificates. We then ask for confirmation. So we say, is your first name Janet and your surname Sneyman? And we say, is that exactly right? And you can say yes, or you can say, no, I need to edit. This is where you'll see if you've made a mistake on your name, we can rectify it. But I want to say, you only have one chance to do this. You can't just keep updating your name on your certificates. You can update it only once. You only have one chance to change your details. So when you do so, I request that you be very careful when you type in your first names and last name. I see people are raising their hands. This is not how we answer questions. Please use the Q&A box. So here you'll see Janet Sneyman says, no, I need to edit. She's then asked for her first names. Ah, there's the mistake. She only had put one N in her name. She's added two N's now. That looks like the right spelling. And she's put in her surname the same way. But at least now we've got the right spelling of her names and we can reissue the certificates and they get reissued almost instantly. You just need to wait a few seconds. And you'll see here, Janet Sneyman, she's got orientation, reading champions. This is a handy person certificate, that purple one. Aha, and there's her care and support certificate as well. Janet's been busy. And there's a great example of what the certificate looks like. It's just a small document that is evidence that you've done the course. So that's how you can change your name on the certificate. If you have already changed your name on your certificate, but it is still incorrect, you need to email us. That is the only way that we can reissue your certificates to you. You must email us an example of an incorrect certificate, as well as your full names, and we will see if we can assist you with reissuing your certificates. Again, you will only be able to change your name once. I'm going to leave this slide up while I go look at some more questions in the Q&A box. And thank you all for listening. Okay. I see here, it's a question I just answered. It says from Sabata, it says, how do I get the certificate? Well, I just showed you. But I just want to reiterate, um, in order to get your certificate, you need to complete your training. For each piece of training that you complete, you will get a certificate of completion. So that is how you obtain your certificates. If you are looking to get your certificates reissued, I'll just go back briefly and show you where you can re-download your certificates or you can adjust the naming on them. So thank you. I then see there's a question over here that says, we have completed Reading Champions training as well as BEEI orientation training and Kitso, which is the digital literacy training. Please indicate which trainings we still need to complete. So this depends on your role type, as I discussed with you earlier. It seems like you're a reading champion. So from that list, I think the only thing that's missing is your NSSF training. And that is unfortunately down at the moment. But I recommend that you try again on Monday to do that again. They're having some technical trouble with NSSF. Josejo says, when is the next meeting? Great question. Thank you so much. The next meeting is tomorrow at 2 p.m. If you are interested in joining us. I just want to reiterate that these are not compulsory. So if you have attended these sessions and you have all the information you need, you are not required to attend again tomorrow, but if you still need a little bit more help, you can attend as many of these as you want. It's entirely optional. These are only here to help you. So that's up to you. Sinclair says, the Digify Africa has not responded to me for more than 5 minutes. Oh dear. So usually, sometimes these things happen, with technical pieces. It's always a good idea to wait and then try again. We don't host the Digify Africa training on our platform. So if in the next, I'd say in the next half an hour, if it's not responding, I'd suggest emailing them directly for some assistance. If you do get stuck though, you can also just send us an email and we can make some recommendations of what you do. Um, Kanya asks, are we still going to be required to do face-to-face workshops? I don't have that information, Kanya. Our mandate is purely for the online training, and this is what I'm discussing today. Face-to-face, I'm not entirely sure. I would suggest you speak to your teacher, mentor, or principal. I think potentially the face-to-face training is at a school or district level. But if you haven't done your online training yet, Kanya, you know what to do. Jordan's asking, where can I find a link on Teacher Connect to complete digital literacy and NSF training? Great question, Jordan. Yeah, you'll find that in the training hub, and you'll also find that at the end of your orientation training, we'll provide those links for both digital literacy and NSSF. I see as well my dear colleague Candy has responded to you with those links. Um, Inga says, sorry for being late. No problem. This is an optional session. You can stay or not stay as long as you like. Justin says goodbye. Goodbye, Justin. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to answer one last question before I wrap up. Denny asks, is this meeting going to be on in August again? Yes, it is. Great question. We'll be continuing these sessions into August. We have our last July meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then in August, we'll have sessions every Wednesday at 11. You can get those meeting links from your district coordinator. Wonderful assistants. Thank you for all your questions and the engagement. I really, really appreciate the enthusiasm and excitement and just the appetite for the training. I wish you all the best of luck with your training. Um, and then just a reminder, the best way to get your training is to register on Teacher Connect. Once you're there, all the information you need will be found in that repository. There's also there are also other ways that you can reach us. So if you have any other questions, take note of our email address on the bottom of my screen, and you can just let us know if there's anything you need. Um, we're here to help. Regarding the training, let's just do a quick recap. To find your training, you need to register on Teacher Connect. Teacher Connect is a WhatsApp chatbot. So you'll go to WhatsApp, you'll take our phone number and save it to your phone as Teacher Connect. Find us on WhatsApp and send the word hi, and it's as easy as that to kick off your registration. If you've already registered and you type the word hi, it will just take you to the menu. And from the menu, you'll be able to find everything you need, including your training, the work readiness information, frequently asked questions, and other interesting information for assistants like yourselves. How to get help, how to change your role, how to get your certificates, how to change your name on your certificates. All of that information is right there. So you can save this number to your phone and send the word hi, or you can scan this QR code. And it really is as easy as that. We've given you all the power in the palm of your hand. I would just like to remind you that there is another meeting tomorrow at 2 if you need a bit more assistance, and then in August we'll be available to help every Wednesday 11 to 12. We'll be running these sessions, so don't hesitate to reach out and enjoy this beautiful journey in schools, and happy learning, and thank you again for your time, energy, and questions. I look forward to chatting to you all again tomorrow. Thank you for listening.